Hey there guys, Mike here. Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays collection is back with another quick little episode. Recently I got a new Vestron video release and everything at Walmart. It was a special edition Blu-ray steelbook. So after watching it and everything, it had me thinking, I got some more Vestron releases, different ones and stuff. I even have a Mill Creek release I threw in there by accident, but I wanted to show it. But anyways, I thought I would just show those off because they're all interesting movies. They're all great movies from the 80s that pretty much, me and my sister used to watch like on HBO all the time. There's a couple movies in here that was just on all the time. We know them by heart, watched them, So let's get right to that. The edition I got was this Maximum Overdrive Steelbook edition. And no, it's a Walmart exclusive. And it's basically the same thing as the other release of Maximum Overdrive that Lionsgate, Vestron put out. It's just in a steelbook. So you got that cover art of the goblin truck chasing Emilio. But yeah, pretty good release. Went through all the special features. It's got some great features on here. There's one about the guy who bought the original head that went on the truck, and he held on to it for years, and then he decided to restore it, and he shows what he did to restore it and everything. And now he takes it to shows and stuff, and you can pose with it and whatnot. But pretty interesting story, and there's a whole bunch of interviews and really cool stuff. There's even a little piece about AC/DC, who does the soundtrack, so I thought that was cool. So yeah, Maximum Overdrive from 1986, Stephen King's only directorial debut. I think that's the only movie he directed. Next up, this is a big favorite of mine when I was a kid. This was one of the ones that were on HBO all the time. Me and my sister watched it all the time. It was on all the time. We hadn't had HBO for very long. I mean, this was 87. We probably had cable for a couple years by that point. I mean, back in the mid-80s, not everybody had cable. Not even everybody had a VCR, matter of fact. It was very common and stuff. And but anyways, this is a really cool release. This is number 8 on that. So this must have come out maybe the 3rd, 4th wave of these when they came out. But this is The Gate. Anybody my age, 47, 50 years old, probably very familiar with this. This was just on a lot on TV and stuff. It was cool. This family has a tree removed in their backyard. I think lightning strikes it, it kills it. They have it pulled up and the stump removed and everything, but it leaves this big hole. So, as kids are, when I was a kid, you start poking around and stuff and start trying to get into some kind of adventure or some kind of trouble of some sort. They start, what's down in this hole, and all this weird stuff starts happening. And, you got these two boys. One's like a kind of a tall, geeky, metalhead kid, and then you got maybe the smaller, kind of a bigger guy, nerdy. They're both little dorks, basically like I was and like a lot of people were. But yeah, pretty cool. Great movie. It brings back a lot of memories. Just one of those great movies you kind of grew up on. Not necessarily, say, Star Wars or Raiders of the Lost Ark or anything, but it's one of those other movies that those repeat movies that would come on and you would watch it a lot. Or you would, try to copy it on your family's VCR or something, Anyways, next one I got, this is a Vestron Studio Canal release through Lionsgate. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the slip cover. I mean, it's like Amazon always advertises the picture with a slip cover and then you don't get one. But this is Extreme Prejudice from Walter Hill. It's loaded up with special features. Nick Nolte's great in this. Powers Booth is good in this. Basically, two childhood friends on both sides. You know, one's a bad guy, and one's a good guy. You know, and the Texas Ranger cop Nick Nolte's got to try to bring down his old childhood friend Powers Booth, who is now a cartel person in Mexico. So it's really good. A lot of action. One of Walter Hill's best, I believe. And there you go. And it's a great transfer too, by the way. Let me go ahead and do this. Now, this is the Mill Creek release. I picked it up by accident thinking it was one of the Vestron releases. But I'm going to include this because Walter Hill directed this also. And when I did a piece about Walter Hill, I forgot about this movie, Crossroads, with Ralph Macchio from 1986. Again, another movie from my childhood that I watched all the time. It was freaking cool. I mean, Ralph Macchio was awesome back then. The Karate Kid, great, movie. But this is one of those Mill Creek sets. It's supposed to imitate the old Sony, RCA Sony VHS, like rental, tapes that came in. And this is very accurate to it with the red bound thing around stuff. So that in itself is really cool. But yeah, Crossroads is really cool. Ralph Macchio is like a Juilliard taught student of like music with guitar and stuff, and he wants to know more about Robert Johnson, who sold his soul to the devil at the Crossroads when he was 27 and everything. So he goes to Mississippi, he goes to the Crossroads, and he's trying to do that. So he basically turns out doing the same thing. So and I don't want to tell you anything, but it's really cool. It's got a cool guitar battle at the end with Steve Vai, which when I was a kid, I thought that was cool. Next up, this was a movie that was always on HBO 2 all the time, The Wraith. Cool movie back then. I mean, it's got some of the Brat Pack in there. You got Charlie Sheen, you got Sherilyn Fenn, who hadn't done too many movies, Randy Quaid, Nick Cassavetes, and then you got the car, the Wraith, and everything. And I know this was on all the time, but yeah, cool movie. It has the 1980s written all over it. And then finally, guys, this is a DVD, but this is a Vestron DVD version with the this one's got the like a rental slipcase on it of Young Guns, the first one. What was it, 1988? And I had maybe seen this one time in my whole life, and but it was on TV a lot. I just didn't watch it. Maybe Westerns weren't my thing then, but they sure are now. But yeah, Young Guns, I got this. I'm gonna rewatch it. I think I found this in a $5 bin at Walmart. And I searched a little harder to see if there was a Blu-ray, and there wasn't. So I went ahead and just got that. Just these slip covers are so cool to begin with and everything. So I wanted to get that. So yeah, I'm going to check out Young Guns. I know for a fact I didn't like Young Guns 2, probably because John Bon Jovi did the soundtrack. And it was just so, back then if you were a guy, you pretty much didn't like Bon Jovi. They were pretty much girl music. Girl music, it was kind of like doing all the power ballads and all that, I was into stuff with a little more edge to it, Yeah. So anyways, guys, so tell me what you think about those. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you comment, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Check out all my other content. And there's got to be something there to entertain you. So check my channel out, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Later, guys.